My name is Paige Mercer, I said, looking at the 200 people staring back at me. Most of you have never met me. You've probably been told I went through a phase. A few people laughed. I didn't. Because 19 years earlier, my father had left me at a gas station when I was 12 and told me to find my own way home. And now, at my brother's wedding, he had just raised his glass and announced, "Our family is whole again." He had no idea what I was about to say next. My parents had always cared more about appearances than honesty. In our family, problems stayed behind closed doors, and uncomfortable truths were treated like betrayal. My father especially believed family business belonged to the family, as long as everyone accepted his version of it. Then, when I was 12, I told the truth in public. My brother had just finished a baseball game. The team was going out for dinner, but my family couldn't afford it. I said so out loud. My father was furious that I'd embarrassed him. On the drive home, he pulled into a gas station, looked at me, and told me to get out. Grow up and find your own way home. Then he drove away. I stood beneath those fluorescent lights and watched the truck disappear. I was 12 years old. That night, I called home from a payphone. The collect call was refused. I ended up sleeping behind a dumpster in my brother's baseball hoodie until a stranger found me the next morning. My grandmother eventually took me in and became the home my parents had decided I didn't deserve. My parents had their own version. According to them, I had simply gone my own way. For 19 years, they told that story while I built a life without them. I became a pediatric nurse, made a home of my own, and learned what it felt like to be surrounded by people who didn't make love conditional on silence. Then an ivory envelope arrived. Inside was my brother Caleb's wedding invitation and a handwritten note from my parents. All is forgiven. Paige, come home. I stared at those words for a long time. There was no apology, no explanation, just forgiveness for something they had never admitted doing. Still, I went. And at the wedding, I finally understood why they had wanted me there. My father stood before the guests and described me as someone who had gone her own way. Then he smiled and announced that the family was whole again. All is forgiven. The room applauded. My mother dabbed her eyes. My father accepted the admiration like a man who had just completed a perfect performance. To everyone watching, he was the forgiving father welcoming his daughter home. Then Caleb stood. He took the microphone from the DJ and walked toward our table. Before we eat cake, he said, "My sister came a long way to be here tonight. A lot further than most of you know." Then he held the microphone toward me. My mother's hand closed around my wrist beneath the tablecloth. My father went still. I had prepared a safe wedding toast. 2 harmless paragraphs thanking everyone and wishing my brother a happy marriage. I looked at the paper. Then I folded it. I placed it on the table in front of my father. And I stood. "My name is Paige Mercer," I said. "Most of you have never met me. You've probably been told I went through a phase." This time, nobody laughed. 19 years ago, I was 12 years old. My family stopped at a gas station on the way home. I'd told someone that afternoon that we couldn't afford the team dinner. My father was embarrassed. So he told me to get out of the truck and find my own way home. Nobody moved. My family drove away. I could hear the room breathing. I called home that night. The call was refused. I slept behind a dumpster in my brother's baseball hoodie until a stranger found me the next morning. My mother was crying. My father stared at the table. I wasn't rebellious. I didn't disappear because I wanted freedom. I was 12 and my parents left me. The room had gone completely silent. My grandmother took me in. She gave me a home where telling the truth wasn't treated like a crime. My parents signed the guardianship papers that winter. And for 19 years, they told everyone I had simply gone my own way. I turned toward my father. "Dad, you told me to grow up. You told me to find my own way home." I paused. I did. His face had gone pale. "I built a life in another city. I have a home. I have people who love me. And I have a husband who has never once left me somewhere and driven away." I lowered the microphone slightly. "I didn't come here to destroy this wedding. I came because you invited me back. You said all was forgiven. I looked around the room. So I thought everyone should know what. Exactly, they were forgiving. Nobody applauded. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. The story my father had controlled for 19 years had just become a story 200 other people knew the truth about. And I hadn't screamed once. My mother finally broke the silence. You've destroyed this family. I looked at her. No, Mom. My voice was calm. This family died at a gas station 19 years ago. I'm just the one who finally reported it. Then I put the microphone down. My brother and his new wife came after me. They weren't angry. They hugged me. For the first time that night, I didn't feel like the person who had ruined something. I felt like someone who had finally stopped carrying something that was never hers to carry. The aftermath wasn't perfect. Some relatives blamed me for embarrassing my parents. Others quietly admitted they had always wondered why a 12-year-old would suddenly disappear from her family. My parents never apologized. Instead, another version of the story began circulating. But it didn't matter the way it once would have. For 19 years, my parents had owned the story because I had stayed silent. That night, I took it back. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need everyone to hate them. I didn't even need an apology. I just needed to stop protecting their version of what happened to me. Because sometimes justice isn't about destroying the people who hurt you. Sometimes it's simply refusing to carry their lie for them anymore. If you were Paige, would you have stayed silent at that wedding or told everyone the truth?